So with these January 6th committee hearings, it's not really going to accomplish much at the end of the day, I don't think. It's really just theater. It's smoke and mirrors. It's just the Democrats and a few Republicans pretending like they actually care, like they're really going to do something. Some people have already been arrested, tried, convicted, and held accountable for their role in January 6th. But at the end of the day, they could have done all this over a year ago. They had everything, but they didn't want to. Why didn't they want to? All you have to do to really understand their reasoning behind this is follow the money. Follow the rationalization for accumulating money. And you'll see why. Because capitalism is a system where only the few make it to the top. Those who are greedy, selfish, ruthless, criminal, basically. This is a system that's built for those types of people. Capitalism isn't built for the mass of people. It was a step up from feudalism at the time that it really started coming into being, but that's as far as that went. What's going to happen next is, if we don't get rid of capitalism and we don't install a more democratic system for everybody, where everybody basically has a shot at life and basically just has the basic needs met from birth to death, from cradle to grave, then people are going to find ways to try to survive, legal or otherwise, and the government's going to try to crack down on them because it doesn't serve their own financial interests or the interests of their donors. But people are just going to be like, who cares? Screw what you want. We elected you to represent us. You're not doing it. So we're going to do what we have to without you. And the government's going to say, oh, yeah? Sick 'em, boys. And they're going to send in law enforcement, probably National Guard if it gets really bad, or even the military if we have a real fascist dictator on the horizon. And it looks like that might happen. So I would advise Congress to do the right thing here because, listen, if you think January 6th was bad, if you keep going the way you're going, it's going to get worse. I mean, more people are going to do worse than January 6th. And understand something. More people getting like that, more guns in the streets in your direction, that's not good. And if you think the military is going to help you, you're sadly mistaken, because the more you screw over the people, the more you're screwing over the very same people who make up the military. You think they're going to side with you? No, they won't. I mean, the military's already split as it is in a way. But the Democrats, all they do right now is they fail. They don't do anything. They don't want to do anything because what they do is they piggyback off of their own inaction, and the Republicans who take action, but the actions they take are just so bad and they're detrimental to everybody and everything. They're like, see what they're doing? Help us, give us money, get more of us in there, we'll do something. And then we do it, and then they don't take action. And they say, oh, the Republicans wouldn't let us, we need bigger numbers. And then we try to give them bigger numbers, and they just do the same thing all over again. So Americans are looking for an answer. And there are solutions, guys, there are solutions. I can just name a few here. I mean, we got the DSA. Some people know what the DSA is. We have the Libertarian Party. We have the Forward Party, the People's Party, independent candidates who don't align with any party. We have the Socialist Party. We have the Communist Party. We have the Working Families Party. We have various progressive splinter parties all across the country. And those are just the ones that I know about. Ranked choice voting would really help in this area. Now, a lot of Democrats and a few Republicans do. I know Justin Amash was on Twitter saying he supports ranked choice voting. Now, he's basically a libertarian now. And I've been in contact with the Libertarian Party. It's good that they support this. We may disagree politically on virtually half of our platforms, but that's irrelevant when it comes to giving anyone and everyone who is an American and of age to vote ballot access. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether or not you agree politically with certain people when it comes to the most fundamental human needs, because human needs are human rights, or at least that's how it should be. But as long as we have capitalism, that basically a market-based system only allows for certain people to get their needs met, while everybody else, oh well, you exist. That's all, the only right you have, but then you're left to die. What kind of freedom is that? What right to your own life is that? So, these people just don't understand. They're out of touch. They're greedy. They don't care about the people. The only thing they care about is lining their pockets, and they know that under a fascist regime that they'll still make money hand over fist. So they have more money, more leverage, more power to tell us to shut the fuck up and do what they say. But again, at the end of the day, the numbers game is going to catch up to them. So they all seriously need to reconsider this, because FDR tried to warn his fellow socialites back in the day about this. If we don't do something now, if we don't give them something, they're going to come and take everything. That's the decision Congress faces now. That's the decision corporate America faces now. No matter who's in power, Democrat or Republican, it's irrelevant. The people will eventually figure this out. They will unite, and they will stand against those who are trying to deny them the basic provisions for sustaining life, just so they can line their pockets. It just goes to show you, capitalism breeds these types of problems. Now, I'm not saying that everything should be total government. Absolutely not. That's basically just as bad, only the reverse of a libertarian style system. But either way, you end up with a small group of people controlling everything, and that's bad news. No bueno. And what we need is a more democratic system, in my view, a more democratic economy, more co-ops, more unions, of course, no matter who's in power. I mean, hell, what we're entering right now, especially with the court, is a new Lochner era. And Lochner v. New York happened in 1905. It lasted all the way through 1945, when it was, I think it was, if I'm reading this right, Parrish versus West Coast Hotel Company or something like that. I could be butchering that, but that was basically what overturned the Lochner v. New York case. And it just goes to show you, as I was explaining in my last story here, it doesn't matter what court ruling you have, how many pieces of legislation you pass, there's always people who will try to come along if they get the numbers and try to make it so that it gets overturned. And if they're crafty and clever enough and ruthless enough, they'll try to make sure that it never gets overturned again. And that's what the Republicans are on track to doing right now. So, these Democrats, they're worthless. The Republicans are traitors. They're fascists. We Americans say we believe in democracy. Let's prove it. We need to form a people's parliament. All parties need to be welcomed in. We need more proportionate representation. We need ranked choice voting. We need more democratic say over our economy. And if this Congress thinks that when shit hits the fan, that they're still going to be safe and comfy in their ivory towers, ooh, they got another thing coming. I'm not making threats here, so I want to be clear about that. I'm trying to warn them. I'm trying to warn you guys. You keep pushing people like this, they're going to push back. And there are more of us than there are of you. And with all the guns we got in this country, much as I don't like the fact that we have all these guns, when you push people enough, they're going to find whatever they can, be it guns or something else, and they're going to fight you. And with the numbers, they're going to overrun you, and you're not going to have a chance. And the people moving forward who would want the same things that you do, just to be endlessly rich and powerful to the end of time, they won't have a chance either. So do the right thing, guys. Put your greed and your vanity and your pride aside for a moment and realize that eventually you either give up something or you lose everything.